All right, it's 11 o'clock. Call the meeting to order of October 11th, 2016, Saline County Commission Public Forum and meeting to order. I would ask everybody to stand and join me in a flag salute and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk call the roll? And I do know that Commissioner, there he is, Commissioner Price is here. Proceed.
Commissioner Shadwick.
Here.
Commissioner Guile.
Here.
Commissioner Price. Here. Commissioner Larson.
Here.
And Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Okay.
All right, we'll move next to the public forum where citizens may speak on county government, usually limited to 3 minutes. Is there anyone that would like to come forward at this time? Seeing none, we will move on to regular business. Item number 1.
It's approval of the agenda for the public forum as presented today.
Mr. Chair, I move we approve the agenda for the public forum as presented.
I second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 2.
Approval of the county commission minutes for October 4, 2016.
Mr. Chair, I move we accept the county commission minutes of October the 4th, 2016 as presented.
I second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Move on to item number 3.
Proclamation declaring October 2016 as Bullying Prevention Month. I have Vicki Price, Education Director of CAPS, and Lori Blake here also for the Director of CAPS.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
I would like to read this aloud, and then I have presents for you. The Bullying Prevention Proclamation reads as, whereas bullying is physical, verbal, sexual, or emotional harm intended directly at a person or group of people, and whereas bullying occurs in neighborhoods, playgrounds, schools, and through technology, and whereas various researchers have concluded that bullying is the most common form of violence affecting millions of American children and adolescents annually, and whereas thousands of Kansas children and adolescents are affected by bullying annually, and whereas targets of bullying are more likely to acquire physical, emotional, and learning problems as students who are repeatedly bullied often fear such activities as riding the bus, going to school, and attending community activities, and whereas children who bully are at a greater risk of engaging in more serious violent behaviors, and whereas children who witness bullying often feel less secure, more fearful, and intimidated. Now therefore be it resolved that the Salina City Commission proclaims October as Bullying Prevention Month, and be it further resolved that Kansas schools, students, parents, recreation programs, religious institutions, and community organizations be encouraged to engage in a variety of awareness and prevention activities designed to make our communities safer for all children and adolescents.
Thank you. And any other activities that are planned?
I'm glad you asked that.
All right.
Yes, we do. This Friday, if you are free, in downtown Salina, and I might leave this or pass this around, at Ad Astra, we're going to have what's called a speak night. We have children from about 6th grade up and through adults. Some have written personal poems and narratives about their experience with bullying or domestic violence. Some have found some pieces about that they will read as well. We have some music that will use some very empowering songs. So if you can, I'll leave that. Please do come.
Okay.
Even the smallest voice can carry the biggest message, and some of these little kids are wonderful. Next month, I'll be teaching a class at our library for parents, what they need to know about their children and grandchildren, how they can be supportive of bullying that their kids might experience or as a witness as well as a victim. So I will leave that. And then I have presents for you. This is a wristband that I give to 4th graders. I know you guys are older than 4th graders, but they're still awesome. It says, take a stand, lend a hand. Taking a stand against bullying, lend a hand to stop it. So I might leave that with you.
Yeah,
or
before you
let
do, Vicki, you've been
Yes.
involved in this for such a long time, and we really appreciate your efforts. Any of us that have kids that have gone through school know that it's a serious problem, so thank you very much for what you do. And
It's my pleasure.
I just have a quick question. You mentioned that you were handing those out to some 4th graders, so evidently you are still going into our schools at
Right.
all age levels or all grade levels, or just specifically grade school, high school? All of the above?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Specifically, our bullying prevention program is with grades 3 through 6 in our 305 schools, 306, 307, whichever way they are. St. Mary's, I go to Lindsberg. I do about 160 of those classrooms a year.
Oh, wow.
Seeing those kids. And the program builds on itself, but mainly what we do is we, no pun intended, but we hit the witnesses really hard. So they can know the power they have, because a lot of kids think bullies have power. Bullies are happy to take power from witnesses if they stand there and smile about it or laugh or say nothing. And so I try to give kids lines to say, certain, even simple things like, we don't do that at this school. We don't bully here. So that they know they can use their voice, or if that's too scary, to give them option. I'm sorry, I'm talking, but you asked the question.
Oh, no.
No, we
but-
go on.
No.
Or if I have a microphone, I'll always talk. But or to help witnesses know other choices, because that's a scary thing to go talk to a bully, especially if it's by yourself. But that you can have other options. Go to talk to the witness. The witness can talk to the victim, and say, "I'm sorry that happened to you. That shouldn't happen to anybody." Give them some sympathy, some empathy, so that they can be a stronger victim if it continues, and some other options about what they can do.
So it's just 3rd through 6th grade?
Yes.
You don't do anything at the high school? Well, 6th grade is middle school, but
Yes.
you don't do anything at the high school level or?
Not in an organized
Setting.
way. Sometimes I work with kids here and there, and we have kids in our healthy lifestyles. That's sort of another program. But we work with some 7th grade and 8th grade girls and high school girls as well. So, but this is a yearly thing where I visit those
Okay,
classrooms.
all right. Well, that's good to know. Evidently, we've not made bullying extinct yet.
I still have a job, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I would like not to, but kids generally are happy to know that they can, especially if they do it together. It's a scary thing by yourself, one voice. But that's what I try to get kids, if they all use their witness power, if nobody smiles when the bully says something inappropriate and nobody laughs, and maybe even 2 or 3 people step forward and say, "We don't do that stuff at this school," then they can shut it down before the teacher could even get there. Because research shows us, I'm just going to talk one more second, but research shows us that bullying can best be prevented in the first 10 seconds after it happens. There's this like 10-second window of golden power at which the bully looks around at all the witnesses, and if they see those witnesses smiling back at them or laughing or joining in, then
They get power.
that.
Yeah,
But again, if nobody smiles, nobody laughs, and maybe those 2 or 3 strong witnesses can say, "We don't bully here."
But I also believe that that's a domino effect. The bully is a bully because he or she is being bullied,
Yes.
and that person has bullied prior, so it's just a domino effect.
Yes,
So
and research tells us that too. Most bullies have been victims somewhere earlier in their lives, and they didn't know how to handle it better than becoming what they hated, and then they became the new bully.
Do you sense, I'm sorry. You
Sorry,
go
I'll
ahead, you
just
go
keep
ahead.
talking
I
all
got
day
time.
if that's
No,
all right.
We have a lot of time today, so.
Oh.
When I was in school, grade school, we were in a small school, 20 students, and back then they didn't have special education. We had a couple kids in our class that were in special ed, and they did very well, and you know one of them, and they're doing well now, but we didn't allow anybody to pick on our classmates. Our class was tight, and anybody else came around and tried to, we didn't allow it.
And that's because you guys
Yeah.
were using your
yeah.
witness power well
Yeah.
to say, "We're just not going to do that
Well,
here."
yeah, we didn't have to say it. We stepped in and it stopped. And so, you know, it does. It takes the whole, everybody needs to work together. And when I moved to this school, I was in the 2nd grade, and I had a twin sister. And if anybody messed with me, I said, "You mess with me, I'm going to get my twin sister."
Well, some witnesses are stronger than others. That's
And
true.
she would take care of them. So it's nice to have somebody to back you up, too. You know,
You,
I have a twin
that's all
sister.
it is. There's strength in numbers.
Yeah.
In your time of doing this, do you have a sense that it's getting better or worse, or, you know, you said you're always going to have a job, and
I know, but I don't
unfortunately
want
that's
to,
I
Mr.
understand,
Shadwick.
but
It's,
we
it's
didn't
so
have those.
different.
We didn't have the tools that you're teaching us when I was in school. So I just
Okay.
I'm hoping that this is helping. So
I like to think so because I also get to hear from kids who have, for lack of a better word, success stories, who have used some of those tools. In fact, I had a little kid come up to me at another event, and he said, when you came to my school, I'm not saying this to sort of brag, but he said, when you came to my school, it was the best day of my life. And I said, it was? What did I do? And what happens at the end of our session is I give kids a chance to thank somebody who has helped them with something when they didn't have to. They could have bullied them. Maybe they helped them with the computer lab or something like that. And then I also give kids a chance to apologize if they have bullied someone. Anyway, this particular kid got several apologies.
Good.
And the important thing, though, was, because I'm just there for an hour and then I leave, the important thing was he had a great teacher and a great counselor at that school. And then everybody knew what was going on. And those witnesses, those kids in the classroom, stepped forward so that if it happened to this kid again, which little ones tried to, they stepped up and said something. And so his mom talked to me and his grandma about this kid's life was very different.
Good.
And I'm not magic. It's not that. It's because I just brought a message and said, you guys, you're in charge of this. You can do this.
And unfortunately now with technology, I noticed that was part of your proclamation.
I did too.
And that's why it's
Technology has-
different. That's why it's hard to say
Wow.
the answer, because it's very when we were in school, we at least were safe when we got home.
Right.
And it could stop, but it doesn't stop. We have technology that's in our homes 24/7, and kids on their phones, on these
Social media. And
so many anonymous ways to harm kids and teens. That it's a different kind of animal, and we have to work our way through that.
And unfortunately, as adults, it doesn't end there because even adults bully.
Oh, no. We get bullied as
tearing
well.
up signs, or your signs in your yard, or
I know.
leaving you some debris in your yard, or
Stealing signs.
stealing signs, writing
Yeah.
things on your car, or even as adults, you still face bullies.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well,
thank you for what you do.
Thank you for what
Thank
you're
you.
doing, and I have your signed proclamation, and you've got gifts for us. So
I've got
please
gifts,
come on
Mr.
over.
which I
Mr.
can
Chair.
use. So
Mr. Chairman, I
Oh, and-
noticed it said that Salina City Commission on that. I don't know whether that's something that you want to get changed or.
Yeah, were they stating that they did it last week, or is that stating for us?
we
Lana?
did it last week, and I'm sorry I did not send you apparently the other
correct.
second one.
Our
My
original one
apologies.
don't say
I'm
that,
not a
does it?
great
It does.
proofreader,
Okay,
Don, and
that's
I
why I
stand in
didn't-
awe of you. Sorry.
That's
Thank
okay.
you for
I heard-
fixing
We
that.
will.
If you want to send
I'll pick
another
that
one,
one.
I'll make sure it gets signed.
All right, thank you.
That's good, but we do need a motion, and
Yeah.
I will not give this to you until we
Till
get
it's
the other one.
corrected.
But anyway, we need a
Thank you.
motion first, and
Mr. Chair, I move that we declare October 2016 as Bullying Prevention Month.
I second that.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Vicki. I will take your gifts.
Thank
though.
you. I will take one next time, but I'll just leave them. You can pass her along.
All right. Okay.
Good to see you again.
Oh, and I'll leave this too. Just in case.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good day. All right, item number 4.
We have a planning and zoning update by David Neal, Director of Planning and Zoning.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Starting off with the permits. Permits have been slow the first and second quarter. They're usually tied, I'd usually tie them to the harvest. And my understanding this year, we had a decent harvest, but when you have too much harvest, the prices go down, which means not as many people will be building. Fortunately, in the third quarter, we seem to pick up. We're not going to have a banner year, but it'll be average like always. For commercial permits, we're working with Exide. They're going to look at doing an expansion to their building. So that's just started talking on the phone. Haven't done too much with that yet. Moving on to some planning cases. The home occupation codes, that was passed back down to the Planning Commission. They looked at that, what was it, Monday the 3rd, I think. And they had decided that striking the protest petition part out of it was a good idea. And they voted unanimously to recommend approving that. we'll be bringing that to you next Tuesday for a public hearing. For environmental work, it's the usual steady, busy year. We're gonna, like I said, stay average. They're doing a lot of work lately. It seems most of the work either comes in springtime or fall. For whatever reason, nobody wants to do anything in winter or summer. Winter I can understand, summer I'm not sure. We just don't do as much. One of the good things that we have had a CARE grant that just ended September. I'll have something a little more formal than this to report all the numbers that we've done, but we've helped a lot of homes putting in radon systems. We've helped a lot of homes with inspecting them and giving them advice on how to improve their house and make it a safer environment for them and their children. Once I have that written up, I'll schedule a time to stand in front of you and the City Commission and tell you all the good work we've done. The good part with that, we still have radon kits, so if anybody does need a free radon kit, until they run out or until they expire November next year, I'm happy to hand out radon kits.
That's still in the city of Salina.
Yeah, anybody that wants a radon kit.
In the county, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I understood that it was only.
Is there a Pico in the county?
No, the original program was for the city of Salina, and we have stockpiled radon kits to hand out. The grant is over, so at this point, city or county
can have a complimentary.
Exactly.
Okay.
Until I run, I'd rather hand them out free to anybody because they'll eventually expire November next year. So I would rather run out than have them expire.
Throw them away.
And if it comes down to it, I know the K-State Extension Office sells them for $5. So in the future, you're still able to get it. It's not a high cost thing. The other big thing that's going on is the floodplain map. We've been working on that draft map for quite some time. And this is I love bureaucracy and their terminology and everything else. The draft map has been submitted to FEMA. They now call it a preliminary map, which is their term for draft map. We'll have a meeting at the end of the month. The state will run down all the steps that we have to go through. The adoption process typically takes about a year to a year and a half to get all the public input. With any federal program like FEMA, they're slow and steady, and they make sure to get accurate as much information as possible. So if anybody still has a dispute over the floodplain out there, bring it to me so that we can still make changes before we adopt this thing.
Can the public go online and see that now?
I don't know if I have that online yet. I know I have a website to the state that I can give people. I am more than happy to show anybody that comes into the office. I have the maps for anybody's property. And we have already been advising people if the maps are not accepted yet, but if you're planning on building where floodplain will be, I try to advise people to lift it up somewhat, try to put in a good pile of dirt or something that will lift it out of the floodplain.
So you can go on a state thing somewhere and look it up yourself? Or
Yeah, I'll have to find that information so I can get that out to everybody.
on our website so people can do that if they
Yeah,
wanna
that's
come
probably the easiest thing. And last thing, it's the end of the season. Mosquitoes are still out there. We still have those mosquito tabs. You can also get them at any hardware store. Try to take care of the mosquito problem.
All right. Very good. Any public comments? Any other business that needs to come before the commission today? Announcements?
If I could, Mr. Chairman, our clerk's office will be open this Thursday and Friday till 9 p.m. here in the building for voter registration. And if somebody would like to apply for a mail ballot, they can come in and do that. We're also open Monday and Tuesday until 9 p.m. next week. And again, for voter registration and applying for advance by mail. And then voter registration then closes on October 18th at 9 p.m.
So Don, for people that are coming after hours, will they just be able to come in through the
Just through
south doors?
Yeah, the south doors off Ash Street, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I have a quote from Abraham Lincoln, and I should have done this during the bullying session because this quote applies to bullying, I believe. And it mentions a resource that we are neglecting in that regard. This is from Abraham Lincoln. In regards to this great book, the Bible, I have but to say it is the best gift God has given to man. All the good the Savior gave to the world was communicated through this book, but for it we could not know right from wrong. All things most desirable for man's welfare here and hereafter are found portrayed in it.
All right, thank you. Any other announcements? Motion to adjourn.
Also moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 We are adjourned.